Okay. Um, and a bit of after action report, review from my Cacao experiment. What happened is that I made the videos, I posted the videos, I spoke a little bit online with a friend, and as I was eyes open and speaking on the computer, I realized that, like, whoa, I'm getting getting sort of tired. In a sense, it felt like I'm too tired to keep my eyes open. And I read before taking the cocoa that it can lower blood pressure. So it's something that would be good actually if you have high blood pressure. It's gonna mellow you out. And I felt it, and I've often felt this on things like mushrooms, that I'm getting weak in a sense and that I need to go lie down. And I think when this happens, it's good to actually do it, that the body has some sort of service work that it wants to do. So I just went, lie down on the blanket, eyes closed, covered, darkness, and wham, it was game over. Like 4 hours, I slept like a log, like a baby, just completely out of it. Really calm, really comforting. And then I woke up and I still had this feeling. So I'm gonna guess it was from the cocoa. Um, you know, and often when you wake up from sleeping, you're kind of bored, you want to get up and do things. Well, this wasn't like it at all. I was still in a half meditative state. I was thinking in my head, hey, I could do this, this, and this, but then I would check my body, how it's feeling, and it felt still like it's doing something. Like there's things that are getting fixed or balanced or whatever. And most of the things I thought about doing, although they were pretty good ideas, I just sort of filed for later. It felt like it's like now is the time to actually breathe mindfully. And this lasted for at least a good half hour, 40 minutes. So um, I'm gonna say this is probably a pretty good meditation aid to take some sort of dose of cocoa on an empty stomach before you want to meditate. Um, I also felt and also seen in my head this image. I've seen brain scans and what happens to people with schizophrenia, schizoid, whatever. Like there's areas in their head that just go overactive. Right? You try to do something, you try to write something, and then unrelated areas of the brain just go poof, and then you see a lot of things, and it's a lot of needless activity. And I saw that there's areas in my head where I just worry, just just like I had a habit to just activate those things for whatever reasons, and they would just be the worry parts that are always on. Like I want to paint something, and instead of just relaxing and doodling and painting and seeing what comes out, I just oh my god, is this gonna be right? Oh, will this sell? Will this panic? Have I thought about this enough? Right? So just these noisy neurological areas, and I've seen a vision of this. I've literally seen my head and these two areas just lighting up. Um, so in a sense, the Cacao vision was showing me, hey, this is the pathway, this is the neurological pathway that you need to activate to get this job done, be it designing something or writing a message or putting butter on a bread or whatever, going to the store. So let's say this is the pathway, and then this here is the completely unnecessary, unrelated worry, leftover stuff from you when you were maybe criticized as a kid for, or screamed at, or you were dating some bitch or your girl some asshole and he was just critical, dumping stress on you. And then it fires up these excessive areas it's just neurons firing out of panic because they're not calm. And I was sitting there in on the mattress, and I just saw this in my head, like should I get up and go to the computer and do this or do that or paint or something, and I was seeing myself how if I did it now, it would just happen how I've done it before. So I'd get up, I'd take a few steps, and these areas would fire up. I would start overthinking, which would then block my breathing or make it shallow. And so there's strong connection. And then whatever I would do, it would be filled of this nervousness vibe. Okay, so if I design something, it feels nervous. It puts people off. If I paint something, it again feels nervous. It's edgy vibe. Not cool. Like it doesn't flow well. So I was in my bed seeing this stuff. It was pretty quick. And I breathed. And I asked myself, like, okay, do I feel like doing this really? And it was like, no. Like, it was this instinctive sense from within of, dude, I'm so chill right now, I can't be bothered to worry. This is what I wanted to get at. This is something that I've been pretty much hunting for quite a while now. Like ways or molecules or breathing techniques or something to be able to do this and do it more and do it reliably, to reach the state of controlling your neurology properly. If you need 30% of your brain to do something, fire up the 30, do it, and then wind down. Don't fire up 50 and 70 because you can't handle it because you're hyper and waste a ton of, and so on and so forth. So there was this effect of, dude, I'm too chill to worry about this. It was like my fundamental activity then and there was to balance the body, balance the breath, make sure I'm oxygenated enough, make sure I'm hydrated, comfortable, that the breath goes fully in and out, up and down, that the electric stuff and blood flows from, I don't know how this works or how to verbalize it, but that it's complete, that my attention goes on this immediate sector of space where I'm occupying this piece of mattress physically, and let the future handle itself, let the past handle itself. There was also a strong sense of, okay, you have this much data in your head to process, or in your reality outside, and this much blood flow. And you can probably process some of it, probably not all of it today. But you can certainly do at least a general mapping of what's where. You have this many girls that you're trying to date, you have this many projects that you're trying to finish. There was a sense of really good perspective. I was telling the girl that I was talking to online, that I feel like a machine in a sense. In the sense of rather dispassionate about my own emotions. Like there was this buffer space, like my emotions weren't here, like in my face, all clogging up the whole system. There was this distance, and I could see as if my brain or my feelings clearly before me. And I would see, hey, this issue or person gives me 20% of this emotion. This other person or issue gives me 40% of this emotion. And so this one is more important. It's important to me. But the 40% wasn't like in my face, clouding all my judgment and my thinking. It's there, okay? I was just noticing what kind of emotions I have, about what kind of situations, people, ideas. Wow, I'm still pretty. It's a pretty weird state. It's a pretty weird state. So I was looking down on alcohol because it's a vasodilation agent. So it makes the blood vessels in your body and brain dilate. I was looking down on that, But then I read the Cacao does the same thing. And I'm gonna say this is very, very different from anything related to alcohol. This is more in the direction of psychedelics in the sense that it's intelligent. So it seems to be very particular about which blood vessels open up around which ideas and so on and so forth. It's very, very selective. So it's almost like seeing one of those scans of your brain, and I don't know what it's called, but there is a type of scan where they follow the blood flow to the brain. So not magnetic, not electric, they just follow which blood vessels are more active. I don't know if they follow temperature or they put something in your blood and follow that, like with markers, and I don't know. But it was like seeing that in a metaphorical sense. So it was something like, okay, you have this issue here in your head, which maybe you've been too afraid to tackle and look at for years or decades. Okay, so the whole head was mapped like this: issues, problems, ideas, and so on. And it's like for the first time you could see the blood flow going around this. Maybe usually you don't even get it up anywhere here because you fear the whole problem. And now it would start to be circulated up to a certain distance so you could see the problem. And it would still like the sense of, okay, I'm not going into it. I'm not going into the center of it because I don't have enough juice now to fix this whole thing right now. It's not time for it. But at least I have it very accurately mapped. Like, what is this, the size of this thing? It's this big compared to this other one, which is maybe smaller or larger. So it gives you a really good map, like an overall distance map of the issues in your head. And although you're not getting into them to fix them right away, you get a really, really good situational awareness. Like you get a proper step out of yourself, step out of your head, see yourself from different angles, and you realize in a fairly dissociated or clear-headed manner, okay, I am this nervous, I am this paranoid, I am this restless and agitated and overthinking and so on. And you get this really good map of who you are in the moment right now, or who you've been. If you look into certain memories or things that you're tackling in this present moment, you look at past days or conversations you've had and you realize, okay, at that time I was like this and like this and like this, which might have been smart or not so smart. And this dissociating effect, this sort of being able to see things calmly without getting a rise out of yourself, I think is very valuable. I think it helps, as I said, in things like meditation, just contemplating your life and the patterns that it's made out of, seeing your thought process and, in a sense, your biological process, like what raises your heart rate, who or what gets a rise out of you, what isn't actually happening outside, but you imagine it's happening. Like you imagine things just, they're out to get you. And you look back and you see, oh, like this, and this in the past week or month, they weren't out to get me. I just gave myself a lot of bullshit for nothing, potentially. So I found this from basically a couple of spoons of cocoa. Where is it? Let's present. From just putting this into some water and consuming it on an empty stomach, I think I got a ton of value out of it. So I'd like to thank the dude that made a comment. I'll probably link him this video. And I would invite anybody who is looking for something to explore these matters, self-awareness, meditation, contemplation of how things are going, even things like restlessness, worry, excessive worry, rumination. and I think everybody pretty much has that. Just try it. Try some cocoa. Make sure you don't have super low blood pressure, because it will probably lower your blood pressure at some point. So you don't want that to be too low, you'll faint or something. Um, if you get tired, go to sleep. Go just enjoy and see the visions. Um, I think this is a good video to just wrap the whole thing up, to share how the whole experiment went. I'll very likely do this again. Not sure if tomorrow, maybe I'll leave a couple of days in between, but I find this very, very useful to get into. I was eating cocoa for years, like putting it on my food, but never like this in a concentrated amount. Just water and cocoa, and enough of it to get like psychoactive response. And there is one there, there's absolutely one there. There's a physical response and a mental response, and I feel it's very healthy. I feel very different now than I did at the beginning of the day or yesterday or the days before. So the combination of the active state, all that breathing stuff, it just unlocked my like all kinds of things in my body. And then the calm state, the 4-hour sleep plus the 40 minutes breathing meditation and all that, it really brought things to a nice, calm finish. Now, people who know my videos or my comments can probably attest to me being overly verbal. Even I can see that. Like, sometimes I look and like, oh Jesus, man, what am I doing? Posting 3 screens worth of comments over nothing. And any substance that helps out with that, I think, is a really good idea to get into. That's what I had to share. Thanks for watching. We'll make more about this, I'm sure.